okay, merch.
Yeah.
I just got it like a week ago. I was like, let me put this on and represent. How you doing? Where you at home?
Yes. Don't you love it? Don't you love doing this from home?
Do you love it, or do you get a little like, I kind of miss being outside?
I miss being outside in general, but as far as like doing this type of stuff from home, especially as a person who experiences like anxiety or like I tend to shy up in like outs, like I get to the radio stations and I'd be like, hey guys, like hey, like then halfway through the conversation I'm like, okay, I'm opening up a little bit. But being able to do this from home and like I don't have no makeup on, I don't have to like do the most. There's not no high definition cameras that's gonna catch all my stuff. So I gotta get up at 7 a.m. and put the whole cake on and get it popping, you know. I'm just saying, kinda nice.
Nice for an introvert, kind of. Is that the reason why you like shoot all your videos like at home by yourself, or like?
Oh, I mean, I started shooting the videos because we was in a pandemic, and like it was before the nuanced like testing was around, and like now you can test everybody on set and then make sure everybody's good and then shoot a video. But in the beginning, it was like my album came out right in the beginning when nobody knew much of anything. So it was like, let's just like stay with just the both of us and just, you know, and just bang it out like that. Like we can't involve more than just two people. So that was actually out of necessity, and it became something we fell in love with.
Yeah, I saw the whole Hyphy Williams movement.
Hey, you know the vibes.
What made you want to include like the sex worker industry for the Can I video? Obviously, it's a good social distance idea, but who thought of that? Like, who came up with it?
It was me. I mean, there was a concept presented to me like you could be like a cam girl, and I just thought about like how dangerous appropriation is when there's something real going on about the thing that you're deciding to play the role of. Like if there's a real issue going on with sex work and there's like an actual like crisis happening with sex workers, and I have the opportunity to, and people wanted to present to me like this idea, I'm like, I can take this idea and transform it to where I'm actually doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of information. I talked to actual sex workers. I talked to, you know, people who speak up about this issue. I got the information I needed. I you know, was told like the issue with how it intersects with like desirability politics and like inclusivity, and then how it intersects with like safety and like people not paying and just banana shush and all these things.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure I was like as on point as possible with it, and we got the green light from like, you know, people who really do the work. So I just wanted to like show them love.
So you did your research pretty much. It wasn't just like, let me make a little OnlyFans looking type of video. It was like, no, there's like a real purpose.
Yeah, and I think you gotta do everything with intention, especially when you have the opportunity to. It's like if I was making a video where the like theme was something that like didn't have an issue or crisis surrounding it, that's one thing. But the theme, can one of y'all go get banana? I can't even think because she's screaming.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a Chihuahua for my daughter because it was a gift. It was a gift to us from the lovely, amazing auntie that cleaned my house. She's the best. She was like, Chihuahuas are magic. You gotta have one. So I was like, cool.
Do you like having a Chihuahua so far?
It's a pretty interesting experience, to say the least.
I say that because while we're talking, I have a Chihuahua mix, and he's literally like.
I think they're hilarious dogs. I do, and she's so funny because my baby doesn't understand how something is smaller than her,
but she hasn't been like bit or anything, right?
No, Chihuahua's like teething, so the Chihuahua's like nipping and stuff, like Chihuahua stuff. But you know, she has toys and she's learning and all those.
Like, you know, regular Chihuahua shit. You know.
Yeah, real Chihuahua shit. Exactly.
So I have to thank you because it was good until it wasn't. Which is why I bought the merch. Is one of my favorite projects of the year, hands down. and it's been months, and I'm still playing it. But I have like, everybody has their own favorites. You know, like obviously Can I is a single, but my favorite right now is Bad News, and then the one with Lucky Day. I think those two. I'm like, and I know you put out a video for Bad News.
Blame me.
You said what?
People be sleeping on Can You Blame Me?
Yeah. That and Grieving. Do you know what the next treatment is? You literally just put out the Can I video. What is the next Hyphy Williams treatment?
I've been waiting for the Deluxe for me to finish Deluxe to see if I want to shoot stuff off the Deluxe. It's been like, there's so many songs on there that are so deeply meaningful to me that it's been hard to like imagine what a condensed version of the video would be. You know, like Grieving, I was like, man, like I'm shooting a video with James Blake. Like that's so important to me. James Blake is one of my favorite artists. It's like that was such an incredible thing for me personally as like as a fan, as a human while making the project. Like that was tight to me. So I'm like, how do I just like shoot a home video for a song I care so much about that I feel like deserves this like epic ass video? So we've been trying to like sit around and at least gauge ideas for like everything and then see what is the most, you know, possible, because everybody's really just trying to focus on being safe.
Oh yeah, that's facts. I think the biggest thing around the Deluxe is, are there new features being presented? You're already transparent about, you know, replacing a verse on there, but are there more features coming other than that song?
Yeah, I mean, there's a new feature on that song. I have some girl rappers I'm really big fans of that are supposed to be knocking their verses out this week. That I'm honestly just been in the habit of just like finding out if the people that I'm super fans of like me back, and then like just geeked out to be really excited about it because I'm actually working with people that I actually like really appreciate and like fan out about, so that it doesn't feel like this like businessy, like this is a strategic move to put this person on a song. It's like, no, I actually think you're hella tight, and like I'm gonna be geeked every time your verse comes on.
See, it's funny you bring that up because I'm an OG Tsunami Mob fan, right? Because I used to work in radio in Jacksonville, Florida, and I did the first interview for Jahaan.
Wow. My family.
Yes, and I always talk to Jahaan, like he really introduced me to you. But I see on Twitter a lot of OG fans are like, why doesn't she, like, of course you're growing, you're doing different projects, but do you ever think about returning to You Should Be Here and making that like a series, like bringing back the OG Kehlani sound? Or you just still?
Well, yeah, I mean, really, I think every sound, to me, everything has always sounded so different with each project because I'm just growing up. A lot of people have grown up with me. So to me, I don't even relate to 20-year-old me anymore who made You Should Be Here, because I'm just like, I'm a whole nother person. Like, granted, I have been consciously focused on like, I think my music, not necessarily it was happier, but there was this just like, this more like cooler, like more fun energy to it that I'm actively like, let me get back to like, because I mean, I was in my feelings with this project. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I wasn't in my feelings that You Should Be Here, but I was experiencing different things. The sadness that was in You Should Be Here was heavily related to like me just getting into the industry and me experiencing all the crazy shit that comes with that. Like I had never experienced like somebody like taking pictures of me to make other people jealous. I had never experienced like friends changing up and like me having to like defend where I'm from. Like I'd never like the people disappearing around me, like people getting weird on me. Like now I'm kind of jaded in that way. Like I'm used to things like crazy things like that happening. So a lot of the like things I go through tend to be like, they're returning to like be normal, like interpersonal stuff, like friendships and relationships and things like that. So yeah. I'm trying to get back, and now I'm cool. I'm super zenned out. I'm cooling. Like I'm in a great place. So like I'm sure that the music will return to like the bouncier, more fun. And me and Jahaan we made a lot of this album together. Like a lot of a lot of it was good until it wasn't, was also with Jahaan. And he's working on so many incredible projects himself that literally I think the reason that we haven't been so heavily making projects like how we were with You Should Be Here, because he's also doing 1,000 beautiful things. He's like on every Drake, every major project that's come out, Jahaan has had a record on. Mm-hmm. So it's just been the habit of like, we're all growing so immensely. We're not living together making songs in the garage anymore.
Yeah.
You know? So it's different.
When you brought up working with artists that you naturally vibe with, I always think of like, there's a certain chemistry when you and Jahaan lock in. That's just that's for me looking from outside.
It's super real. Even in the studio, it's a completely different vibe. It's like, he already knows what I like. He already knows what I don't like. He already knows, like, then he also knows how to get me out of my comfort zone. Like, you ain't done this in a while. Like, you never tried this. Come on, let's have fun with it. Like, so when we do lock in, because we have time and like we're on that same page, it's like a really, really incredible, beautiful experience. And you're actually reminding me, I should probably call him and tell him to actually come to the studio tonight.
Right now, yeah.
I'm dead ass. What you doing tonight, brother? Okay.
Did you need to come through? I saw all his stories. He moved into his new place and he's like trying to cook and all this extra.
Oh my God, no, it's really crazy. Like Jahaan has like made a whole 180. Like he's like he cut the hair. It's like he cut the hair off and then just it's super blasted. Neck, whole new person. He's all buff now. He's like vegan. Like I'm like, I love this. I love this brand. Like we used to be like drunk idiots on tour. Like we used to be wilding, and now we're all like, I'm a parent and I'm like super healthy mom, and he's like super healthy. Like I do my long run and I meditate. Like we just growing up. It's crazy.
we ain't kids no more, dog.
I'm 25. I dropped my first project when I was 19. Me and Jahaan made our first song together when I was 19 years old. I'm 25. Like that is a crazy concept to think about.
Yeah, it's just funny because, like I said, I think when y'all dropped that, I met Jahaan and I was like, oh, what do you do? He's like, I produce for this girl named Kehlani, and then like years later, this is where everybody's at.
It was like we were each other's first like musical like match. Like
yeah.
I was the first person he was at every studio session for, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Then he was with me on tour every day. We were stopping in different cities making music. We were writing songs on a bus. Like, so that's my heart right there for sure.
I do want to say, just because your fans are like crazy, the Tsunami Mob is crazy. So on Twitter, I look through just to see what everybody like wants to know about. I saw a tweet alleging you're supposed to be on a certain TV show playing someone's younger sister. Have you seen that?
Well, they play entirely too much. Like they start up things like that just to get people talking. I think there was like a whole petition. Like there was a whole petition to get me on Euphoria. Like there was a whole petition to get me on. What's that show with the kids? I don't know. I love this show. I don't know why it's slipping my mind. Justin, what's the show with the kids? And they want me to be like the gangbanger's sister or girlfriend.
Oh, on my block.
That was like such a huge thing that like, and I loved the show, so I tweeted about it also, that on my block, the people reached out to me to come like actually pop by and like talk to the cast. I was pregnant not the cast, the people. I was pregnant at the time, so it was like, what could I do? You know what I'm saying? But my fans just, I think, get excited about things, and I think that I look like I could be on any one of those shows. So they're just like, y'all should throw her on because she's got a face tat.
Like, let's cast her. She works, right?
Yeah, she looks like she could play somebody's gangbanger sister or something.
Well, one, I appreciate you taking time because we've been like, I've seen you just in passing, like so many places, but we never got to really talk. And I was like, yo, I fuck with Kehlani like a lot. So I appreciate you joining me. But the last question I really do want to ask you is I follow you on Twitter. I saw you tweeted about buying land as like a place to raise your family and your kids. So what is one thing I admire about you, I think a lot of people like you for, is because you're very like, it's not that serious. Like you're very regular in a good way. Like you're very grounded. So what are your main concerns right now as a human, as a mom, and as an artist? What do you focus
I love this question. Nobody ever asked us like this.
on?
My main concerns as a human is like just how we're how we're interacting and like holding each other as community, how we're taking care of each other as community, because the people that are put in place to take care of us are very blatantly saying they don't give a fuck about us.
Yeah.
Can I say fuck?
Yes. That's fine.
Okay.
I can edit it out.
They're saying they don't care about us blatantly, and it's coming out in many different types of wars. You know, war on our food, war on our children, war on education, war on health, medical racism, systemic racism, violence. Like it's at all facets of the people that are put in place to take care of us. It's like they're more, not saying they ever gave a dang a darn. Not saying they ever cared, but they're blatant with it. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest concern is like, how are we, especially people in positions like me, where we're like, we have access to resources, we have a very large platform. How are we reaching back and being regular enough to be like, okay, this actually doesn't matter like that. Like what matters is that we now get on a human to human level and like figure out how we're gonna, you know, take care of each other. It's that, and just the safety of the planet. Like, I don't know, like us just not taking care of the planet. I'm not like a hyper, like, oh my God, I get on every day and be like, oh my God, like all this, but just like, even in the midst of taking care of ourselves, like just the masks and the ocean and just everything, all these natural disasters, like everything is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest concern as a person. I think I just care about everybody else. And then my biggest concern as an artist is that I'm just doing things and staying in the mindset of like, do everything with intention, and also just make sure that you love what you're doing. Like, I think we get so caught up in like people pitting us against people pitting us against our old selves, our old work, people being like, you're not succeeding to the standard of like what I consider success for you. And like that gets in the way for so many artists. It gets very like, dang, like I'm not like people are calling me a flop because I'm not succeeding to the point of like what they consider as like the most cracking thing in the world. And I'm like, do I love what I'm doing? Am I impressed by what I'm doing? Do I think it's really, really tight? You know what I'm saying? That's all that I care about as an artist right now, is like, am I doing something I feel like is impactful, that someone somewhere was like, thank you, this was needed? And am I doing something I'm like, yo, Kehlani, if you was looking at you right now, you would think this is tight, you know? And then my concerns as a mom is just making sure that like my baby is experiencing as much joy as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in a pandemic where like, these are the times when she's supposed to be getting socialized and she's supposed to be like experiencing other babies and like doing outside baby stuff. I'm like, how do we facilitate that safely for her, and just like letting her like experience everything in full. We do really conscious parenting, no telling her she's bad, no like telling her things about herself like that. Like, we ask, do you want to talk about it before we pick her up, or like, can I pick you up? So just like really facilitating like a really child-led, you know, situation and relationship with her. So
looks like you got intentions for all them areas. I'm glad I hit you with something you ain't never been.
Great question. I love that.
I told you I was an OG fan. Okay, that's why we got the merch. But but I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining. I know I kept you a little longer, but you know,
it was cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
When that deluxe drops, I'm need that advanced copy. I'm needing.
You know what? Dead serious. Remind somebody.